This episode is sponsored by eToys World. Go to etoysworld.co.uk/discount/PHC10 for a 10% discount off your first order.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Polyhedron Collider Cast, episode 191. I'm Steve Tudor.
Hi, I'm Andy Lewis.
And I'm Rory Summers.
No Sid.
No,
Sid. No. Apparently he's north of the wall catching wildlings.
Oh.
What does that actually mean in like normal human speech? What does that translate as?
It's in Scotland.
He's in Scotland. And he's probably eating his body weight in samosas.
Per meal.
What's the other one he has? I know his mum makes, it's like the Indian sweets. It's like basically like deep fried batter, and then you just soak it in syrup.
They're really good, those, and I can't remember what they're called. They are good.
Sid will be listening to this and screaming down his, Of
course he will.
He'd be listening to this on his drive home from Scotland, and he'd be screaming at the car stereo at this point.
And calling us various names.
Yeah.
Tuesdays, yes.
Hi, Sid.
I think his mum makes a good, I think they're called pierogies. They're like kind of miniature pancakes, only about that big, like, about 3-4 inches across. But you basically dab a lump of butter in the middle of them. And last time we were up there, she was making them fresh, as she does. And I was just eating them straight off the stove, just straight down. It's basically just a butter delivery system. They're amazing things. I think they're pierogies, but I don't know.
Pierogies is Italian, isn't it? So it must be something else.
No, it's not those then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sid will be screaming again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Sid screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, masterfully executed link there.
So it was Mr. Lewis's birthday not long ago, and we actually met up for all four of us for the first time since Expo, which is a bit depressing in itself, really, that it's the first chance all four of us got together. But we actually got to play a bit of VR. Went to Meet Space VR in Birmingham. We did 2 games. I'll go in reverse order because we played a zombie shoot 'em up, which is like a game show, and we played a horror house. And I'm not kidding, you've never heard 4 grown men scream like little girls like we did at that thing. Oh my God.
It was scary.
It was so funny. It was so funny just listening to you, Andy, wailing.
Honestly, I got into it. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Because usually, I play like horror computer games, and I'm not usually easily scared. I have played Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Generally scared me because that was really quite terrifying and very atmospheric. But it actually takes quite a lot to scare me usually. But this was
it didn't.
Well,
it didn't. You were the first one. You were the one to break the seal with seconds.
It was. Well, that's because I made the foolish idea, because the idea, we were basically playing a haunted house, and there's some entity in the haunted house. The idea was supposed to get out. There's 6 of us that was in there, and the idea is the house is deliberately trying to break you up by sort of opening doors, so you run through it and then closing them behind you. And if you're on your own, it will then do something that is intended to scare you a bit. And we'd been going for a few minutes, and I went kind of upstairs with a couple of other people and got to the top landing, and the bathroom door was open. And anyone who's seen any horror films is like, no, don't go into the bathroom. Don't go into the bathroom, especially not on your own. So what did I do? Well, I thought I'd game it, progress the story, and go in on my own. I heard the door slam behind me. I thought, uh-oh. I turned round, the doorway kind of disappeared into nothing, and in the doorway appeared a hooded woman who just charged for me, and I screamed my arse off. It was scary.
Hilarious because we could all hear you both through the comms. You had like comm system. We didn't need the comm system because you could hear you screaming from the other side of the room. But of course, we're in like a little room as well, so we can just hear Andy screaming. To which we laugh, and then one of us gets startled by something and goes, "Ah!"
It was absolutely hilarious. It was so much fun. That was so scary, so immersive.
Very, very
so if you haven't done a VR experience, I would strongly recommend it. They're so good. And the narrative one we did, so no guns, nothing like that. We're just exploring the story. It was brilliant.
I think the lack of heavy ordnance really did make the difference.
Yes. And then going into a zombie shoot 'em up, just to have the weight of that gun in your arm, it's just like, I feel so much so much better now.
So let's go back in the haunted house with these things and see how this bitch can sort it out now.
Yeah.
But apparently that's not allowed. So no, we got munched by zombies in an arena instead, and it was good fun.
Are we going to put the little video we got up on the socials of us doing this? It's got nothing sensitive or spoilery?
I don't think I don't wish you would stood. Steve and I don't come out well on that video.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, all right then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Decided.
Why not?
I'd love to move on to our segment about talking about games with a nice segue into the Rory's tenuous link, but I can't really get a tenuous link in this time.
I don't think there's even a tenuous link
I
here,
could stretch to maybe death.
I've got
Death
one.
is a link that goes between 3 of the 4 games, but I cannot get the 4th one in there.
I think I've got one.
Oh yeah, Andy's
Kind of.
tenuous link.
Kind of space rifts ish, because in one of, 2 of them have got kind of rifts in space. One of them kind of sounds like it should be in space, and it's also a kind of semi-co-op, which kind of involves the 4th one. I'm not quite sure how to put that slightly more succinctly, but that's about as good as I can give you.
Yeah, I mean that's even more tenuous than Rory's. I've got to admit, but yeah, okay.
But so we get with no tenuous link this week. So let's just dive in and let's start talking about our first game.
Well, why don't we start with a horror game since we just talked the horror house?
Why not?
It's a good time.
I'm going to start. We're talking about Aberration. Now, Aberration is a board game from Ghostfire Games, who are probably better known for making the Grim Hollow RPG supplement. So it's a D&D 5e supplement, campaign, monsters, new subclasses, that kind of thing. It's I think one of the biggest third-party Dungeons and Dragons supplements you can get.
Okay.
So what they've done, and this is like this kind of grimdark setting with it's all it's all black. There's vampires, there's monsters, there's Cthulhu-esque type things in it. This is a board game set in that world.
Ooh.
So what is happening is the big bad, which I can't remember the name of, but looks like a giant skeletal a giant skeletal reindeer with a skull for a face. And it's giant and looming in the distance kind of thing, like something from the mist, is sending its aberrations, its creatures, towards you. And you must protect the village from these aberrations. So what you've got is a kind of tower defense. I say kind of because there's no towers in the game. You basically just have to use your heroes to go out and chop down these monsters before they get there. But what you're really doing is trying to complete objectives, because the game is based on a series of objective cards, which may be kill 4 aberrations, but it may also be clear 4 shadows, or gain 4 pieces of equipment, or light 4 torches, which leads me on to some of the other rules which makes this game interesting. One of the things I really like about this game is it has a Space Hulk-like blip system.
Oh, that was a good system.
It is a very good system.
So instead of the baddies just appearing on the board, you get shadows. And the shadows get revealed either when they go into a space with a hero or go into a space that has a torch lit. So you can manage the torches so you can see what's coming before they get there. Monsters come on the board. There's 4 paths that come towards the centre. I say 4. There's different map tiles which can put a bit of variation in there. But what you're trying to do is complete these objectives before one of the many ways in which the game ends happens. So it has that pandemic-y thing of there are several ways in which you can lose. If enough monsters come to the centre, your fear goes up, but some other things can cause that. If the influence of this big bad, I'm sorry, I really can't remember the name of the big bad, but if his influence gets too much, he basically blocks off spaces, means the monsters advance quicker. If he blocks off an entire zone, entire path, the game ends. If a player character dies, the game ends. If the deck of monster cards runs out, the game ends. So it has that really good co-op thing of we've got 5 or 6 ways we can lose, but only one way in which we can win. And the game has that really cool balance of managing these things that are going to end the game and doing the things that are going to progress the game. I've kind of already let out my feelings at this because I've kept using the words cool, great, and all that. I'm not going to lie, it's not particularly new as a game. It feels like it's taken bits from other games you've played before.
Not a game genre vu then.
little bit of game déjà vu. There are some other cool, interesting things. The way in which you activate your character is a bag builder. So what you will do is you'll take off a token off your board, which improves one of your stats, put it into a bag, then draw a number of tokens out of that bag, which determines what actions you can do.
Mm-hmm. Clever little system, this is.
It's a clever little system. So again, bag builders. We've seen bag builders before. We've seen advancing baddies. I mean, we talked a few episodes back about the Firaxis game.
The
Fate.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, it's very, very similar to that. Baddies are approaching. But I really like this game. I think everything about this game just comes together nicely to make that like perfect hour or so co-op game, which remains fun throughout. You don't know what's going to be on those blips. You're managing those blips. It could be like the smallest of baddies, or it could be the huge behemoth Cthulhu-like entity that's going to kick your ass. Some of the entities, when you kill them, actually do more damage when you kill them than they do when they just get to the village centre.
They do.
All that kind of management stuff in there. And the fire system, which means that you're managing these fires, trying to determine these shadows, also keeps it kind of... There's something else to keep on top of and certain manage. I mean, I haven't mentioned towers. There are actual towers, but there are that worker placement splots, which is really bizarre to mix in there. But one of the actions you can take is assign a villager, which gives an action which can do extra stuff. And as you play the game, you could unlock more of these worker placement slots for the villagers. I think it's a really fun co-op game, which has a little bit of that kind of pandemic-y thing in it, and a bit of that tower defense in there. And I said it works quick. The first time we played this, we played games in less than an hour, 4-player.
Oh, okay.
So
it's definitely pandemic-y in length.
Yeah, we played it 3 times on the bounce as well.
Yeah. Because I had that whole thing of, well, should we set up another game or should we play another game of this? What's set up? And everyone went, let's play another game of this.
Yeah. So we played it, won it, played it again, lost it, played it again, won it. I found this game to be just really entertaining. We had a lot of fun playing this. It is cool. It is fun. It's exciting. It's dynamic. It's really swingy. You can feel like you're on the back foot, and then, oh no, all of a sudden you're charging ahead in the lead. Just really good fun. Nothing new under the sun here, but just quality board game entertainment. I didn't realise until I just looked this game up that it's designed by Peter Lee, who did Lords of Waterdeep, Horrified, and Tyrants of the Underdark.
Oh.
Which...
I didn't know that either.
That's pretty high caliber designer there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why, I should actually said, we did get sent this by the publisher.
Yeah.
By Ghostfire Games, and the reason why we've been sent it is it's hitting GameFound for a reprint and upgrade very soon.
Oh. Do we know how much roughly it is?
There's going to be a couple of tiers on this because we got one with cardboard and our heroes were miniatures. Right. I'm sure there's going to be miniatures galore for all the monsters and all the bad guys. So there's going to be very different degrees. I reckon off the shelf kind of retail edition, sub 50 quid. I'd say
that's all right.
I'd reckon for the standard edition, I think 50 quid sounds reasonable. And I think for the type of game this is going to be get it to the table, play it, and it will stay on the table because it's just as easy to set it up, go again, have a new experience, a new story, rather than pack it away and just go. It's going to be one of those, just similar to, I think, like we said, Pandemic, like Horrified in many ways. If you enjoy a game of Horrified, it's just, let's stay on the table, let's just play it again. Let's get a new challenge, let's have a new variation of it, because the different, like the big bosses, the level 5 boss change, is it not the level 5 boss? There's something where we have a different, essentially. What is it that changes the way they? Yeah, scenario based. Yeah,
it's scenario based. So that's basically just suggestions about how you set up the map and how you set up the monsters, and then some of them add special rules in.
Oh, is that a scenario? I thought there was meant to be like the big body, the big reindeer thing was changed into a different type, and therefore that introduced new rules.
I think in the base game, which we got given, no. That doesn't change, but I do believe that whether those expansions, because it's like, I think it's 2 expansions coming to this GameFound, whether they change that, which change the theme of this.
A lot of good fun playing this game. A lot of good fun.
I've just looked at the Game Fan page. There is no prices up yet because you can follow the page.
But there's no information. Yeah, sure.
But it hasn't gone live yet, and I believe it goes live 18th of August. So not long after this podcast goes live.
Coolio.
So from aberrations and deathly monsters coming your way to
aberrations in space and deathly monsters coming out of them, you see? That's what I was trying to get at before, but it didn't really come across very well. No. Rifts in space. Voids, you might say, and you shouldn't fall into them. Now, we're not going to talk about Voidfall. We're going to talk about its kind of offshoot red-headed stepchild, Revenant. Also by
I wouldn't call it the red-headed stepchild. I would call it another chunky Euro game in this setting.
That's the nice way of putting it.
Red-headed stepchild suggests that it's something they want to hide away.
That's fair. That's true. Yes, and it does indeed have a soul, so it can't be a ginger hair. I'm outnumbered today, so I've got to be very careful. But yes, we're going to talk about Revenant by Mindclash Games. This is a game we saw last year, 2025, at the UK Games Expo, where it was being shown off. In fact, it earned our Definitely Not Shit award, if memory serves.
It did.
Because we quite liked it. So now it has completed, or is completing, its crowdfunding campaign. Steve and I have both received our copies a few weeks ago. I think that's about right, ish, as we record this. And it is, yes, set in the Voidfall universe. So there are Gribblies coming out of holes in space and wanting to take over the universe. Not unlike Mass Effect, if anyone's played that. If you're not familiar with the Voidfall setting, basically Gribblies are coming out of holes in space, trying to take over the universe, and we'd rather they didn't. So in this, we are trying to escort the Revenant, which is a bloody great ship, on a board not too dissimilar to Battlestar Galactica, if anyone's played that. There's a big ship in the middle. There's things zooming around the outside.
The story isn't too dissimilar from Battlestar Galactica.
Exactly,
either,
it's true. It is. At the end of each round, you might be able to zip off to another star system, again, like VSG. And ultimately, at the end of the game, you end up landing on a planet, again, a bit like BSG. However, the gameplay is totally different. Unlike BSG, which is kind of move around a board, do an action, this is kind of move around a board, do an action. So it is a lot like BSG, really. But this is a lot more Euro-y. So Revenant is deterministic. There's no sort of dice-based combat or anything. It is literally, if you shoot something, it will die. But the idea is that you are a member of an ass, and you are trying to do things around various arc ships and various other ships around the board, and if you use a ship belonging to one of these great houses, you gain influence with them, which puts you up on a track, which towards at the end of the game will basically give you most of your score. So part of the object of the game is to use as many of these houses as possible, or focus on one and get as far up that track as you can to obviously gain the biggest multiplier you can. However, your opponents are probably going to be savvy enough to work out that this is what you're doing, so they're going to try and stop you. And by destroying ships on the board, you can reduce the effect of each of these tracks by essentially reducing its multiplier by which is the number of ships left on the board. Part of the game is to control the number of what we call Voidborn, which are the bad guys which come through these rifts, and this is where the semi-cooperative nature of the game comes in, because you do need to work together to a point to make sure that the Revenant, the ship in the middle, isn't completely overrun. Again, a bit like BSG, because if the Voidborn do lots and lots of damage, they'll blow ships up, but if they have no ships in the sector they're in, they will then damage the central ship, and if that gets damaged too much, bad things happen, and everybody either loses or at least doesn't do very well at all. So you need to sort of contribute to this, and there is benefit in doing so. It's not just a sort of a magnanimous thing. If you kill these ships, you go up on another track, which can get you stuff, which affects turn order, which is quite important. So there are benefits to doing this magnanimous activity. But ultimately, put a thing down, do a thing, buy a few cards to improve the things that you can do with the staff that you have. Do that 4 times, 3 turns around, job done. Dead simple, easy peasy poo.
Well,
Well,
it's not really that simple.
Yes, it
It
is.
should be that simple.
Did you not detect the slight amount of facetiousness in my voice there, Rory?
No, sorry, hang on. I thought facetiousness was a default setting for your face and voice, Andy.
True. I have resting facetious face.
This game is a really fun game, but I believe it has a really high barrier to entry. It takes quite straightforward.
it's a poll vote this entry.
Yes, you really do. What this game seems to make things more complicated than it needs to, and I think it does it at multiple points throughout the game, and I found that quite frustrating whilst playing it.
You did seem a little, what's the word? Pensive during the game.
Pensive.
That is also, I'm absolutely shattered at the moment, but let's not get into that story.
I don't disagree with you, Rory.
No.
I was thinking about this earlier, about how we're going to discuss this on this podcast, and I came with a thought of, you talk about a book, and you go, right, this book could have really done with a good editor.
Yeah.
I think Revenant could have really done with a good editor or publisher or whatever it is that comes in and just goes, just you need to think about this bit, you need to think about that bit, because there are a lot of places in this game where there is complexity which almost feels for complexity's sake,
Yeah.
or is communicated in such a way that it's really difficult to get your head round. And I say this is almost 2 different things. I'm going to use 2 different examples here. Complexity for complexity's sake. If the Revenant takes damage, or if it takes 6 damage, there's a series of damage cards you have to deal with. And the way in which those damage cards are used feels overly complex for something that's not going to be done every turn. You have to be really bad at managing the Voidborn, these little gribblies that are coming on, for the actual Revenant to be taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And it felt like the whole damage process was a complex process of moving cards between 2 different slots and then tucking the card for what could have just been a card on the top, and that was the damage that happened at this time. If that. Or you drew something, or like Battlestar, you draw something from a bag which tells you what damage it is. Then the kind of communication complexity is everybody has an individual set of abilities which are linked mostly to your captain. So you have 3 workers, 2 pilots and 1 captain. And your captain has special abilities. And those special abilities are completely different from player to player. And I think there's 10 combinations?
Something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
10 variations
At
of
least
this.
8 anyway.
And every single one of us had to look up what those abilities were and when they triggered, because when they triggered was different for every single player.
Yeah.
Which makes it all complicated. And there's no written thing, it's all graphic. Now it's all B&O tool graphic design here, so it all looks beautiful. But it also needs, a Rosetta Stone to work out what some of these symbols mean. And once you start learning some of these symbols, they become intuitive. You go, oh, that's play a card, that's take a card. But it's like it was the ability, like this ability only occurs at the end of your turn if you've taken your captain. So you have to, but I'm the only person that gets an ability that happens at the end of the turn. Andy gets an ability that happens at the start of his turn. And all those things, because they're all completely graphical, because this is mostly language independent, it's only the upgrade cards which have got any writing on them, means that it can be quite difficult to decipher some of these, which adds a layer of complexity to a game which is already very complex.
See, I found that frustrating. I think there was one action on my board that I got to this point where I was just so overwhelmed with having to ask what all of these icons meant. And I was like, I can only hold so much information in my head in one go. I don't care about the action. I haven't got space to remember what it is, so I'm just not going to do it. that's not really the attitude to take. Maybe it's me being an arsehole, but I was just like, I've got enough information now. Let's just play the game. And we use the word obfuscation quite a lot in that game of it. Why is this so difficult? Why is this card printed this way? Why is it not upside down so I can tuck it? Why is this not just like this? Why is everything so hard? One of the problems we had, those little player aid cards are a godsend. You look at that player aid card because each of the arc ships allows you, as a worker placement, I can do this action or this action. It's just easier to read that card than try and work out the iconography. Then you read the card and you go, right, I need the light blue ship. And you look at the board. Where the fuck is the light blue ship?
That's the hard bit. That's what makes it. Because, I mean, you're obviously aware that I am partial to a heavy Euro, and this is very much a heavy Euro. So I have to admit, I didn't have as many problems as these two, but I can't disagree with what you're saying. But the hardest bit about this is trying to find the action you want. Because the ships move around and they're randomly generated every time you set the game up, they're never in the same place. Because in most heavy Euros, you know where the action is that you want to do, because it's fixed, painted on the board, and it never goes anywhere. But in this, they do. And when you're in a room and there's maybe some sunlight coming through the glass and there's a glint on the board and half of it's all shiny, you can't see shit. And it's quite irritating.
Well, then you have, in that same space, you've got the Rift, and then you've got 6 Voidfall ships, and then you've got your frigate, you've got an attack ship, you've got a lander ship, you've got a planet.
It's a busy
and then
board.
you've got 2 player pawns in there as well. And then on top of all of that, the light blue icon that you're looking for is quite small, and half of it's taking up with a completely pointless icon. That T-shaped ship, which is on every banner, every house flag, which is just to say they're part of the Revenant. I don't need that. I just need the full logo. You know, like we had the cog. You got the one that is the cog shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why is that cog shape? Why is that cog logo not the entire logo? It's the cog on top of that little T ship. Every one of them has that T ship, and that T ship is pointless.
I didn't realise that. It's just graphic design
graphic
language.
But it's just so because they're all part of the same fleet or confederation or whatever the thematic term is.
Yeah.
But there's so much of the board, so much of the icon, so much of it is taken up with just really, I suppose, nice, artistic, thematic things, which actually just gets in the way of making this game clearer for a player. Now, having said that, it may sound like I'm really down on this game. I do think this game is the type of thing that's going to really reward the type of gaming group, the type of players that play a game multiple times with the same group of people. I think if you played this with your same mates and you play it 2 or 3 times in relatively short succession, you have that one difficult game to get into it. But after that, you're going to be thinking about it. Let's play it again. Next time, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to do this differently. And if you get it back to the table again fairly quickly after that, you will just be able to bounce into a far more interesting game. And every time you play it, I think you're going to get a very different experience. You're going to have different tactics. You're going to have different objectives. As Andy said, the layout's going to be different. It's going to make a really compelling game. It's going to be really good fun once you get into it.
Pretty much. It's like every heavy Euro, really. And unfortunately, I don't get to play every heavy Euro I have more than once a month or once every 6 months. So you have to go back to square one. I don't disagree. I agree, Rory. It's one of those. It's very, very deep, very, very broad. But once you're used to the iconography more than anything else, really, it'll flow quite well. And the thing is, that said, our game, which was sort of first time we'd all played together, I'd gone through the rules in a sort of a learning game prior to, but you guys had played the day before and then we all played again. But that still only took us 2.5 hours. And that was the first game. That was a learning game, a 3-player game. So once you're used to this game, I reckon you could spin through it in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, you only get 12 actions, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those games that does not a lot. There's a terrifying point when you get towards the end of the first round and suddenly go, oh my God, I've got no actions left to do anything.
Yes.
How am I supposed to get these objectives, which I'm holding on to? How am I supposed to manipulate this board? How am I supposed to kill the Voidborn? Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah. As I said, I actually really love this game, and I think our moniker of like definitely not shit award still stands.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think this is an absolutely great game. I have another complaint of it, though. This game has no respect for my table space.
It really
This
doesn't.
game is an absolute ridiculous table hog. And it's annoyingly, you've got the boards, because your player boards are in like two pieces, form an L shape. And unlike a Dromeda's Edge where you could flip the bloody player board,
Yeah.
they're always the same configuration of L shape. You could flip them, you could slot the board in between. There's also a reference board, and it is a board which has tracks in it, so you have to bloody use the damn thing. And it's bigger than the player boards.
Yeah.
And you don't need it.
That's just to take you through the actions that you do in a turn and at the end of the round.
But you have to have it because it's got a track on it.
Yeah. It's got that really important, the tactics track, yeah.
Yeah, which is a really important part of the game.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed this game. I found this game frustrating in equal measure. I think if I played this game again tomorrow, I would find it far less frustrating and far more enjoyable. But if I don't play it for another year, it's going to be the same level of frustration and fun.
Yeah, I think there must be a way of making a handout or reference sheet for this game which makes it easier to understand, I think, and the rule book is...
It's hard to navigate.
It's hard to navigate. The rules are in there, but it's very difficult to navigate mid-game and try and look up a rule.
Which does bring the game to a screeching halt, which is a problem, yeah.
Especially when there are so many rules in this game, it's very difficult to find the rule you need at any particular time.
Yeah.
Interestingly, when I set the game up, which shows you the power of Peter O'Toole, Amanda looked at it and went, "Oh, it's a Galaxy Cruise game." No, it's just a space game by Ian O'Toole. It looks the same.
He is quite prolific at the moment because he's doing everything by Eagle Griffin. He's doing a lot of this. He's done loads of stuff recently. So the man is in demand. But I liked it. I really liked it.
I like that. I mean, this idea of manipulating the tracks, allowing the ships that your opponents have influence in to get blown up to dock them points, I think is such a beautiful mechanic. However, it does bite you in the arse when you realise you've just destroyed a worker placement spot you wanted.
I was so annoyed at you lot for letting that happen. I was so annoyed.
Even at the end of a round, there's a load of damage to go on these ships. Which one should we blow up? Well, Steve and I have got no skin in this game, and we're both choosing where the damage goes. Sorry, Rory.
I only had like one skin in that game. It's not like I had a lot, but I really liked the power of that shot.
It was some more than we had.
It was some, yeah,
Yes.
And it's a really good ship as well. I didn't actually care about that faction at all, but I just wanted that ship, which makes it a really interesting choice in the game. I want this action, but I don't actually care about earning esteem with that house faction. I do care about these house factions. Oh, but you two donkeys have taken the action spaces, so I can't do them. So it's pivoting.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I think about it, the more I enjoyed this game. I did enjoy clawing back all those points in the end game scoring as well.
Yes.
I did.
I was disappointed.
Despite my grumbling, I did quite well in that bit.
Well, it's a golden PHC rule. Whoever complains about the game the most
It
wins.
is, yeah.
That's why I've not won anything for a while. I haven't complained enough.
Considering you're the grumpy one of the entire podcast, that's unusual.
I know. I should play something. Well, I don't know. I have complained a lot in the past. Maybe this is no. You've caught me in a good day. But then I think it's Revenant's a good game, so I can't really complain. Although we did notice another piece of dodgy graphical design was the cards and the tucking thereof.
Yeah, it just if the card's design had been flipped, you could tuck the card and hide all the information you no longer need once you've purchased the card.
I don't need to see the picture anymore. I just need to see the effect. Yeah.
I felt the same for the crew upgrades, because the crew upgrades went to your left.
Yeah.
Which meant they took up more and more room, and if you could have tucked half of that to just show the ability, it would have been good.
Change the design vertical rather than horizontal.
I think you're bob on, Steve. This just needed an editor, didn't it, to come in and just smooth the edges off.
Yeah, it's a couple of tweaks here, just to take over a couple of ability, variation and rules overhead here and there. Could have just tweaked it. I mean, it's still a very, 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 very good game, which I think makes these complaints we have all the more interesting.
Yes, I mean, ultimately, these are just, flicked boogies at a very solid core, so we're okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's the fact that we're griping about such silly things about the card. It's like, no, because this game is good. This thing deserves to be better, so I could just do this and just make it flow and play it again more easily, play it again with more people. We want that. I don't want
You've
that
got
barrier.
to the point where you're complaining about the graphic design. The game's going to be pretty good.
Yeah,
True.
right.
Yeah.
So that was Revenant by Mindclash Games. It is, I think, on either pre-order or late pledge on GameFound if you want to go and get it. There are 3 tiers. Steve got the middle tier. I got the top tier, obviously. And there is a Billy Basic tier as well.
I got the basic tier, which was available during GameFound, which was not the retail version. So the retail
That's what I
tier
mean,
was
yes. So the Billy Basic one is now available, I think.
Right.
So then, you got the Captain tier and I got the Admiral tier. So there's the 3 now, from what I can tell now. Anyway, the point is, it's available. Go get it because it's really good.
Mr. Summers,
Hello.
we have no segue here. We have no link. So why don't you tell us about Intelliwar?
But Intelliwar's got your name next to it, Steve.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to talk about that. In which case, then, why don't I talk about Intelliwar?
Okay.
Would help if I read the
You really
actual
surprised me then. I was
instructions.
like, that's not what we just agreed.
Even in bold type, Mr. Tudor, you've got no excuse.
I mean, you guys thinking this is some kind of democracy, I don't know.
Right, just shirk. Right, Rory, you talk about Intelliwar. Okay. Let's go.
So, Intelliwar is another game we played at Expo, but we played it at Expo this year, and we picked up a copy kindly gifted to us by the publisher. Intelliwar is a 2-player battle game, a medieval battle game. Let's not bat around the bush here. It is a chess-like game, not unlike Grunts, which we talked about a few episodes ago. In this game, you will take on a bunch of medieval forces comprising of your prince and a number of units, such as footmen, cavalry,
Knights and archers.
archers. And these are represented by discs on the board. It's a very simple gridded board. And on your turn, you will activate a unit. Now, the activation is quite cool in that you can't activate the same unit 2 turns in a row. You have to activate 2 different units each turn, who will do the basic move, attack, or use their special ability. Aim of the game is simple. You must either kill the enemy prince or kill every other unit that the enemy has, so that only it has the prince remaining.
Okay. Interesting.
So, a bit chess-like, kill the king or kill everything but the king, if you can imagine it that way.
Sounds very, very similar. In fact, not possibly even identical to a game I got when I got Brett Walder called Revenant. I can't pronounce it because
Okay.
it's very similar. It's another chess-like game, and from a quick squatch of the rules, that sounds like a very similar idea.
Okay.
It's the same premise as Onitama as well, that great martial art themed.
Yes, and Onitama is more chess-like. What
Onitama.
separates this game from the kind of chess games is that although each unit can move differently, they attack. It's not just a simple case of moving your unit on top of another. You have to make an attack to an adjacent, in most cases, unless using archers, space, which involves rolling dice. These dice have either blanks on them, an empty sword, or a full sword. A full sword is a point of damage. 2 empty swords make a point of damage as well. The clever thing, TM, here is if you roll double blanks, you gain a point of experience point. So you gain a point of experience.
Which means blankety blank now, sorry.
Yeah.
Les Dawson.
And you also gain experience whenever they activate a unit, and they also gain experience whenever they kill a unit. Some of the units also have special abilities that give them extra things. When you have 3 experience points, you cash them in to do an upgrade, which involves upgrading your dice from white to teal to purple. And you can decide whether you're going to upgrade one of your white dice to teal or your teal dice to purple, and so on. Basically, the higher the colour of dice, the more chance you have of getting a hit, so they do more damage. Now, without going through the special abilities and what units can do, I've basically told you the entire rules of the game there.
Yeah.
There are some bonuses you can pick up. Everything does something slightly different. Your princes are going to be completely different. You go out there and you smack them. It's not balanced in that what I mean is you don't start the game with an equal force. You do a draft at the beginning.
Which I really like this.
Yeah, to gain the units you're going to play with. And so last time Rory and I played, Rory took loads of cavalry units, and since I saw he was taking loads of cavalry, I took loads of footmen. And we basically had complete opposite. his units all moved diagonally across the board. Mine just marched forward as a little turtle, keeping everything together.
Yeah. And you had loads of archers as well, didn't you? So as soon as
I had one archer,
which I
regret taking.
Really,
Well, no,
such a pain.
I regret taking because he didn't actually do much damage. You saw him as a pain in the arse because he blocked your movement because you didn't want to move into his firing arc, basically.
Okay.
Which interesting strategy because I think just the fact that my firing arc was there was acting as some kind of thing
Deterrent
to stop you.
for me.
Yeah. Each game, 30 minutes.
Tops.
Not going to take
tops.
any like absolute tops 30 minutes. It is a fun little 2-player battle game. Much like we were talking about Aberration, it's got a strong sense of game déjà vu to it. Nothing in this game feels original because it does feel like a lot of games. I kept thinking of actually an iOS game which came out donkeys years ago called Hero Wars. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. But what's the other one? Was the Plaid Hat game, which was playing cards?
Dead of Winter.
Summoner Wars.
Summoner
Wars. It's that similar kind of feel to that 2-player units on the map, move them, attack kind of action. It's very well presented. So it's got this unique art style all the way throughout. All the little tokens are beautifully presented as well. Nice chunky cardboard tokens for all the bits of cardboard.
Nice chunky dice. It's a cracking little game. This is. I think it's a solid 2-player war game, like condensed chess-like war game. Last episode we talked about Grunts, and Grunts was really rapid. It was really, really quick. This has a lot more depth. It has a lot more strategy to it, and it has a lot longer playtime than Grunts at half an hour as opposed to 5 minutes. It feels more substantial, and it will take up more brain power to do that.
See, I don't agree with you there.
Do you not think it felt more substantial than Grunts as a direct
No,
comparison?
I did not feel it. I definitely didn't feel it felt more strategic. I think in Grunts, I definitely felt like every single move mattered. And I had to be careful because if I misplaced a move, much like chess, you could exploit an opening.
Yeah.
This felt a little, I'm not going to say simpler.
Do you think was it more forgiving? Do you think
it's more forgiving? I could make mistakes in this, which I couldn't do in Grunts, and the dice could screw you over because this was dice based.
Really good
you
point,
could charge in and go like, "Oh, I'm going to take down Rory's." Oh, I've not rolled any hits.
Yeah.
So Rory's knight's going to carry on charging through to my prince now. So I don't think it had the strategic depth. I think it had the war game element with the randomness.
Yeah.
Which Grunts didn't have, which made it, I actually think, a more different game. Grunts is more chess-like than this actually is because this is more of a war game on a grid.
This is more, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I still felt that this was, I felt that there was more choices in this, like the actual agency. What am I going to do? Which units am I going to activate? Because I can't activate those two because I did them last round. And then what am I going to do with them? Because you've got your move and attack, obviously. Then there's special abilities were also really important, and how you move. And because you've got to think one turn in advance. If I use these two next round, what am I going to do the round after that?
Okay, that's good. So it is like chess then.
In that way, because you can't activate the same unit twice. So I had one of my knights had a mace, and he just did loads of damage, just absolutely loads of damage to everything that was nearby. I used him once, charged him in, did loads of damage, but then I knew I wasn't going to be able to activate him for the next turn. So he had a whole 2 turns of just being sat there and picked on by Steve. So he was kind of sacrificial because I just had to check. Well, maybe that was why I lost. But I charged him in there. I did loads of damage. Steve had his turn, did some damage. I couldn't use him the next round, but Steve could still then attack with everything else. I thought that's where this was. I felt this game was more strategic because I had more options than I did in Grunts.
Okay,
but
it's interesting to compare the two when they are similar in style and length. Two player head to head, simple, quick.
Yeah.
But I think the randomness of the dice makes it feel quite different, and the time it takes because Grunts was 10 minutes. This is 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference, I think. Yeah, did I find it as tactical as Grunts? No, I don't think I did. I found Grunts to be more of a brain burner.
Really? Okay, so this
Yeah.
is apparently tactically deeper, but less of a brain burner. Interesting.
In that Grunts, I had to really think about every move.
Because they mattered,
as I said,
yeah, sure.
because every single move mattered. Whereas this, I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to think about every move. I just had to, I had to think like, well, as long as I move something into there, it's going to slow him down, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I move a foot soldier forward. It's going to prevent Rory from charging forward. It's not good, but he could still charge forward and whiff the attack because he's rolled all blanks anyway. So, your resources weren't as precious, shall we say, as they were in thing. But it does feel very similar to like chess in any other game. When you start losing about half your forces, you start going, "Oh crap, I'm running out of options here. I've got to start playing a bit more defensive, or I have to think of where I'm going." But yeah, ripe for expansions as well. I mean, the fact that the game actually says base game on the front of it suggests that there's more to come for this.
Right.
But yeah, a really nice little 2-player game.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. We enjoyed it for different reasons as well, I think, Steve, as well, which was quite nice there.
So do you want to talk about another 2-player game then?
Let's talk about another 2-player game.
The barest of links between games here. We have actually got a segue.
Yes.
It's thin, but we've got one.
2-player game. We're going to talk about Tag Team now. We're going to talk about Tag Team now from Scorpion Mask. I had to look at the publisher. Couldn't remember it off the top of my head. Right. So provided to us from Hachette at the UK Games Expo. This is a 2-player beat 'em up style game where you take card-based beat 'em up. You are going to take almost like a deck smasher. You've got 2 different fighters, deck of cards. You shuffle them together, and that is your draw deck. And then you're going to have 2 cards. They're starting attacks in your hand. I'm going to play one of them. You don't get a choice. You have it in this order. I'll play this card, which activates one of your fighters. You, at the same time, Andy, will draw one of your cards, and that will be your fighter for that attack. My attack will hit that fighter. Your fighter will hit my fighter of the cards we've drawn. Then the next card, brilliant, and then our other fighters will go. At the end of the round, it's a little bit like a deck builder. You'll take 3 cards from the top of your draw deck. You'll choose one of them to add to your sequence, your action programming almost. Does it go to the top or the bottom of that? Because that order stays consistent for the rest of the game.
So it's a bit like, is it Viscount?
Oh gosh, a long time since I played that.
It's not Viscounts. One, maybe it is Viscounts. The one with the little. Oh, it's one of the West Kingdom. I think it's Viscounts, where you use you take your 2 paladin guys, and you can use one of them and put the other one at the bottom.
Oh no, this is more common. I would say this is more like a programming game. So think of something like what's the one? No, I was thinking more of the one with the cowboys across the train.
Oh, Colt Express.
Colt Express.
Yeah, Colt Express. Think about like Colt Express, but you can't change the order of your cards between rounds.
Oh.
So actually, maybe not Roller Rally. Actually, the League of Legends one.
Mechs
versus Minions, because that has the cards. Imagine that you've programmed a sequence, and all you can do is add a card to the front or back of that deck.
Oh.
And you're doing this competitively. So I've got I put an attack on the top of my deck, and Steve does whatever he does. Steve sees that my first card is now an attack. So when it's the next turn to get a new card, Steve's going, I'm going to get a guard, and I'm going to put that on top. So if Rory doesn't change his first card, knowing that my first card last round was an attack, Steve can defend against it. So you're trying to second guess what your opponent's going to do, and then try and manipulate. So Steve knows where my attack card is. He needs to make sure he's got a defensive card there, or something that can exploit. If your opponent attacks, you do this as well.
Okay.
And the idea is you just do this. You've got completely asymmetric fighters that have different synergies between them, and they'll create a different kind of tag team dynamic. If either one of those gets down to 0 wounds, they get knocked out, and your opponent wins the game.
Okay.
And you've just got a little health bar that you track down every time. So if I hit you, you take damage. You hit me, I take damage, and it's the card that's played. and it is this kind of trying to memorize your opponent, not trying to memorize, trying to remember the rough order of your opponent's cards and make sure that your attacks are in sync with their weaknesses, their defense
Right.
absences. I've played this game. I played this game in the pub a couple of weeks ago with my mate, and we just sat and played it over and over and over again. It's another 5-minute game. It's just fun and it's dynamic. You play it, you've got these cards. I've got the Golem and the Dirty Dozen cowboys. Put them away. I've now got the Chinese pirate and I've got the paladin character, and I've got a completely different experience. I've got to kind of work out those synergies and attack. We had a lot of fun playing this. Really just good fun card battler with that little bit of memory that you've got to do, and a little bit trying to second guess and bluff your opponent as well.
Nice.
Clever, fun, interesting.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a bad experience with this game, but I would say that I had a slightly, not disappointing, what's the word I'm looking for? Frustrating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had a bit of a frustrating experience with this game because you're doing this smash up kind of thing. You are a little bit dependent on how these two heroes synergize.
Yeah.
These two battlers synergize. Some of them are quite straightforward. Like the Golem, it's like he takes damage every turn, and every so often he'll power up a massive attack and do shitloads of damage, but he protects your other character.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Chinese pirate queen who builds a pirate fleet, and the pirate fleet builds as you play, which does some cool stuff when it gets going. Okay, I can get my head around that. But then we had the sheriff's group.
Yeah, you didn't get on with the sheriffs, didn't you?
I did not understand how you were supposed to do anything with that group, with those cards at all. And you were like doing, wow, kabam, I'm going to do this, and I'm like going, I do this, and frustratingly, although thankfully it's a very, very short game, so it does get around this quick. Once your cards are in that order, it is set.
Right. Yeah.
So if you make a mistake, you're making that same mistake every round for the rest of the game.
That would get annoying.
Yes, it was frustrating.
Is it a little bit like Compile? Remember Compile? I mean, obviously not mechanically, but in the sense that you have a couple of decks, and each deck has a certain amount of properties. You know, you got to combine the different decks together. Obviously, mechanically, I realise it's a very different game, but is it like that?
It's like that, but I would actually say it's a stronger variation, much stronger variation than Compile.
Okay.
I mean, the play style of these different characters is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And what they can do and the complexity varies drastically. Like you had one of the games you played, Rory, you had like fairies, so rather than one character, you had three characters. Every time I killed a fairy, you got like a power up.
They became spirits. Yeah, there's the femme fatale, and she essentially lays traps, and you have trap tokens that go out, and the more trap tokens you have, the better. And then every now and then your opponent will trigger a trap. So I'll do my attack against you, you'll trigger a trap, you turn over one of these tokens, and more bad shit happens to you.
Ooh.
There was the voodoo. There was the voodoo woman as well. The voodoo woman poisons herself and does damages.
Yes.
But she can't get. It's harder for her to get knocked out. Her knockout counter is at like 3 or 4. If she goes below her knockout point, she resurrects herself and comes back at like 10, and she has to go down again.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it was really fun,
really cool
clever.
abilities. Yeah,
it was really fun.
Really clever design. It's just if you make him. I mean, as I said, it's a very short game, but if you make a mistake, it's very frustrating. Or if you don't quite grasp how you're supposed to synergize these two fighters together, it can be frustrating as well.
I suspect this is a game I would be very bad at because I'm very lousy at that kind of game.
It's annoying if you get a good combination where you can see the synergy straight away.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, but if you get a combination where you can't see the synergy, it's like, I don't understand how I'm supposed to do this. So it's that whole thing. If it feels imbalanced, but it probably isn't at all. It just feels it because you're losing.
Don't you? Because you're not very good.
There's really wonderful moments I had playing this is where your opponent knows you've got a kick-ass card. Your number 3 card is absolutely freaking wonderful for you, and they're desperately trying to change where their cards are by adding new cards to the top. So you're trying to just like cancel their cards and negate everything and playing that lovely little bluff I put it at the top, I put it at the bottom, so you don't know where that card's going to be anymore. I really enjoyed the kind of that social interaction around this game. Lots of good fun. I'm dead keen to pick up the new expansion for it. Is it the Arthurian Legends, which will just add another couple of decks to it. So again, rife for expansions because it's just another few cards, and I think each deck is only maybe like 12, 16 cards.
Yeah.
Solid. Really looking forward to it. That was Tag Team from Scorpion Mask. So thank you to the guys at Hachette for providing that to us. I've had a lot of fun.
Let's round off with a wee little game. I think we've got enough time before we hit we should stop about now point with Kingdom Legacy Feudal Kingdoms, which is from Fricks Games and designed by Jonathan Frixelius. I really do hope that I pronounced that right, which you will know the name of because this is the Fricks family, which are, of course, involved with Terraforming Mars. If you know anything about board games, you'll recognise that name. This is sold as a solo legacy game. And the base game comprises of one box of cards, which is the size of like a magic box, if you know your games, but there are loads of expansions available, and there is like a big box version which comes with a bunch of expansions. The general concept of this game is you're running a kingdom, and you start off with a few fields, and by the end of it you are doing all kinds of kingly stuff, managing your entire kingdom. You are doing that by drawing a bunch of cards out of your deck, and then spending the resources on those cards to upgrade another one of the cards in play. And this is actually one of the clever things about this game. To upgrade a card, you either rotate it 90 degrees or you flip it.
Right.
Which means every card generally has 4 different states. Some of those states are actually upgrades. So, you get a farm, you start with a farm, you get a bigger farm, you get a bigger farm, you get a bigger farm, get to the biggest farm, it stops. Other ones are quite good, are quite interesting. Like, for instance, if you want a bunch of wood, rather than just harvest one wood from the forest, which is just use its resources, you can chop the forest down and you flip the card over and it turns into a barren swamp.
Oh, nice.
And that's the basic loop of this game. And I'm not going to lie, I don't like solo games generally, but I found the basic loop of this game really fun. And the reason is because it reminded me a lot of the loop of Dominion.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
Get a bunch of cards out, but instead of buying a card to add into your deck, you are upgrading a card and looking to see what you can do with that. And it's a very short loop. Draw some cards, spend the resources, upgrade a card, discard your entire hand, draw some more cards. The little jiggle within this is that you can always draw more cards. So if you have a bunch of cards and go, well, I can't upgrade anything right now with this, you keep drawing cards. You draw 2 more cards. What can you do? Draw 2 more cards. What can you do? What this does is basically make your game less efficient, because what happens at the end of the round, you discard every card you've drew this round and then draw more cards. So if you are forced to draw 2 or 3 cards, you will make your turn less efficient. As you play, once your draw pile card goes to 0, you then draw, you've got like a master deck, which are all numbered in sequential order. You will draw another couple of cards to add to your deck. Some of these could be other locations, but basically it represents your kingdom expanding. So there's more stuff to manage.
Right.
There also comes in a couple of, I'll call them story cards for simplicity's sake. Like there is a thief that comes in there, which will steal the resources off a neighbouring card. And you can, if you manage to get a sword resource, you can get rid of the thief and take it out of the deck. You've also got the legacy elements, as there are some stickers you can put on cards which improve the resources that can be made. So you'll get to a point where, okay, this action allows you to put stickers on. And if you play the rules properly, like the thief card, you're supposed to rip that thief card up. He goes out of the game.
Oh.
Now.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The big stinky butt.
This is the big stinky butt. I love this loop. I thought this loop was really good. But do you know how in Dominion and basically every other deck building game, there is often a way of pruning your deck?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if you don't prune the deck, everything just gets thinner. What you're drawing gets thinner and thinner and thinner.
Yeah.
there's no way of pruning the deck in this game. You just keep adding more cards to it. So as the game progresses, you get more and more cards to manage. Now, some of those cards are actually pretty cool. Like there's one where there's like a ruins, and if you explore the ruins, you flip over the card, and then you expand and explore it further, and it becomes like almost a little story quest, and that says, now replace this card with card 192 from the deck, not an upgrade. So there's these little stories that emerge, and little disasters that emerge, like a volcano turns up, which destroys a land that comes next to it.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The problem for me was this is a game in which you play to the end, you record your score, and you pat yourself on the back and go online and see what everyone else has scored, because you can enter it onto an online database.
Oh.
And then that's it.
Oh, I thought it was a legacy game.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's not a legacy game. That's just pinball.
Yes. Well, it is a legacy game because you've altered some of the cards in there, in that you've taken some cards out and you put stickers on some cards.
Right.
Interestingly, I have seen people on the Board Game Geek page, a lot of the top reviews of it are people who've sleeved this, and so that it's easier to remove the stickers from sleeves. So you basically treat it as a game you can play over and over again.
Right.
What the expansions do is the expansions allow you to carry on the game after that point when you finish playing. So you have to take certain cards out, you replace them with the cards from the expansion, and you play again. Again, one playthrough, record your score, done. This is unfortunately the bit part of the game which made me lose interest with it. The combination of this deck getting bigger and bigger, and the fact that I'm only going to play to the end of the deck and then that is it, made me lose interest in this game very, very quickly. And I've tried to start from scratch multiple times, and I have fallen at more or less the same point each time, where I've suddenly gone, I don't care anymore. I'm going to pack it away. Now, what you're supposed to do is, if you get to that point, you pack it away, and if you pack it away correctly, you can just open the box and carry on the game. But the problem is, it's hit that point where I'm not interested in playing the game, because the interesting loop that I was getting earlier in the game is now a bit of a mess.
Is it because that loop is just so big you don't get that you don't get that dopamine hit? You don't get there's a success, there's a good card. They're getting few and further and farther between.
They're getting fewer and further. Yeah, they're getting fewer and further between, and so are the story cards. I've always kind of said on this podcast, I don't want us to redesign a game. We should be reviewing a game as it is. But it does almost feel like there should be failure states in this game. You know, like, there's a random, maybe change one of the cards so it's random. There's a famine coming. You have to gain enough food before this card hits your deck, which causes you to end the game. I think that kind of mechanic in this game, and then keep the legacy elements, would have made a more interesting game, rather than just simple one and done score attack.
You say we don't like to redesign games, but Rory suggested a very significant change to Bunny Kingdom Town, which would basically redesign it.
Well, yeah, but I said we don't. We try and review games, and you don't want to say what you think could improve the game too often, because we're not game designers. No. And I always say that we aren't game designers and we don't know what comes out in playtest. But I feel as if this game had a kind of challenge mode where you had to beat a challenge by gaining a certain amount of resources. Like I said, food for famine, so upgrade all your farms. Can you upgrade your farms in time to get them good enough to beat this famine challenge? Would, in my opinion, have made a more interesting game. But as it currently stands with this one and done score attack, I said, if you could reset the game really easily, which I think you can if you just sleeve it, just so the stickers can come off, or use a dry erase marker on some of the cards, I think and then you're playing it several times and trying to beat your score, there's an element there, but that's not the way the game is designed to be played.
Right. I
should also point out, as a point of reference, and we should probably address this, I think we've addressed this once, but we'll go over it again. This is 100% AI art, which, if you know Frick's games, this shouldn't be a surprise to you, really, because I think the Terraforming Mars expansions that they are now publishing is all 100% AI art. I'm not a fan of it personally, but my view is that I am telling you here so you can make a decision. So if you don't care about AI art, you can carry on and have a look into this. But if you really care about it, you're not going to want to go near this game, because it's not even like I don't think this is even AI art that's been touched up afterwards. I think this is just what the AI has created, personally. Because there's a lot of artwork in this game. Every card has 4 pieces of artwork on it. Because you've got the 4 upgrades, basically.
Yeah.
So, and some of it is more obvious than others. There's the points when I'm flicking through the cards, I noticed like a princess card and the character card, and you went, whoa, that's AI.
No.
Whereas like a picture of a farm wasn't quite as obvious. But
Are they all slightly yellow?
no, it doesn't have the piss filter.
Okay, all right. That's I suppose that's a start.
I have got some of the expansions. I haven't tried them. I don't know if they mix it up, and I apologise. Really, we shouldn't really be reviewing the game because I don't think I actually finished a game of this.
But that says enough.
But it took 3 attempts, and I got bored at exactly. I say exactly the same point, but within like 2 or 3 points of the deck each time.
That's a review, innit? You've tried it a number of times and you just can't finish it. That kind of speaks volumes, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. As I said, there's some people on Board Game Geek are getting absolute joy out of this, and I think the way they do it is to modify the game in such a way so that they can replay it and re-experience and beat their score each time. But yeah, the one and done does not appeal to me in this kind of game at all. So I apologise for ending on a bit of a downer, gents.
Yes, Steve.
Everyone's going to walk away now miserable.
Yeah, well, they
upset,
should
and
go
it's
play
all
Revenant
your
and
fault.
Aberration.
I agree, yes. Go play Revenant and then cry because you can't access it.
Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We have been Polyhedron Collider. We will be back soon with another episode. But in the meantime, please give us a review on iTunes or your, I say podcast platform of choice, but I think it's just iTunes and Spotify, the only places that can actually do reviews. So we do appreciate the reviews. If you want to talk to us, we are available on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Board Game Guild 2726, and of course our Discord server, which the link to it is in the show notes.
That's where the magic happens.
And don't forget to go visit our sponsors, eToys World, for a juicy discount off your first order.
Let's just go and buy the new Tag Team expansion now, actually. Thanks for the reminder, Steve. Cheers.
Yeah,
mate.
I bought Container last week from eToys World and played it in my board game group the same day.
Did you?
That's a shelf dodger right there.
Well, until next time, happy gaming.
Ta-ra.
Take it easy.
Hang on, we're missing one. It knocks me out of kilter.
Cheerio.
No, 4 voices.
We're missing a Cheerio.